Good evening. This is Unwind with Gigi. How's everybody doing today? I hope everybody had a great Friday and looking forward to the weekend. I know we certainly are. But ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say my granddaughter Madia is back and she's doing very well, and we're just praise the Lord that she's back. Amen. And today we're going to jump into what we're doing, but I want to take the time to say thank you for liking my videos. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for leaving the comments. Please tell a friend and just keep coming, because we got a lot of things that we're going to be sharing. I'm going to have some guest appearance from Madia. We're going to do some filming at her house. I'm going to do some filming in Atlanta at my son and daughter-in-law house, in Maryland and Virginia with my daughter. And also a couple of my great friends here are going to be coming and sharing some recipes on my channel with everyone. So please stay tuned. Today we're going to make salmon piccata. And we're going to start off with our salmon. So I have actually a frying pan already here. Down a little bit. You're going to have to shoot it down a little bit. And this is my husband. Say hi, hubby.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah. So what we're going to do today, we're going to start, and then we got Lily and we got Isabel, my great-granddaughters. Can you say hi, Lily?
Lily, say hi.
Right now, she's playing with her little sister. So what we're going to do is we're going to start just kind of sauteing my salmon a little bit. And I like to start with skin down. I got them in a warm saucepan already. And I like to start with the skin down. And right now, we're just going to let that cook for a few minutes. And today, we got a little twist, because you normally use chicken piccata, or salmon piccata, and you would use with rice or noodles. But today, Madia, we're actually going to use cauliflower rice. So we're going to make our own spin on cauliflower. We're going to do like a little fried cauliflower, and then we got some mixed vegetables. As I've told everybody, I love doing okra. I love okra, and we've got some different vegetables that we're going to put in as well. It's not working. So, anyways, right now, we're starting with our salmon. And we're going to let the salmon cook for a few minutes. And I'm just going to get a plate that we're going to put the salmon on once it's fried up. And then we'll start from there, and then we're just going to build our piccata sauce. Yeah. Yeah, so we're going to start, but right now, Madia, what I'm doing is just letting my salmon just fry on the skin side. I'm going to turn up the heat a little bit, and once I let it fry on the skin side, and then we're going to change it over to the immediate side and kind of let it fly up. Because what we want to do is pretty much get it as done as possible, and like we did with the chicken piccata. And then once we put it in our saucepan and add all that sauce to it, it will continue to cook the salmon. We don't want to overcook the salmon. We want it to still have that nice pink flow, but we want it to be done. And right now we're just letting this, and if you take a look here, ladies and gentlemen, you see it just frying up here. I just got a little bit of oil in the pan, and it's really, really, really flying up right now. And we're just going to let that cook a few more minutes, and then we're going to flip it over. We're going to take it out, and then we're going to start to build our sauce. And then the last thing we're going to do is do the fried cauliflower rice, because it only takes a few minutes. So now we're just going to take a good look at it to see, are we ready to turn it over? We're going to go ahead and just kind of flip it over here. And once we get it all flipped over and get a good sizzle on it. And I'm going to turn the fire down just a little bit. Oh, that looks really, really good. I love a hard sizzle on my salmon. And Madia, you like yours a little bit more done, right?
Yeah, see, that's why I don't normally cook salmon too often, and I'm glad you're doing this video. So when I do decide to make it, I can definitely use the video, because I'm telling you, I'm not confident. There we go. In my ability to make it, I'm like, okay, is it undercooked? Is it too cooked? You know, what am I doing?
Well, you know, when you part your salmon, if it's a little bit pink, it's okay. But when you part it and it still looks a little, you know, we're from Alaska, so like the Alaskans say, the little jelly part of it, if it's got a little jelly, then it's not quite done. So you want to get it a little, you know, cook it a little bit more. And the only reason I'm not cooking this through and through, because remember, by the time we build the sauce, it's going to be in that hot sauce, and it's going to continue to cook. So you want to leave it a little undercooked. I just wanted to get that skin good and seared. And this is what we're doing right now. And then we're going to build, and what we're actually cooking is a lemon butter caper sauce. And just to tell you some of the ingredients that I'm going to be using, I have a shallot, it's a shallot and a half, garlic minced. I have dill, because the dill is going to go in the sauce. And I also have a little bit of capers that we're going to be putting in. And the green onions is actually going to go into my my cauliflower dish. And of course we have onions. So we have everything together. And we're just going to go ahead and take these off. Oh, man. See how good and pink they are, Madia? But they still a little bit not quite cooked, but that's fine. That's the way we want them for now, because we're not going to, we're going to put them back in this hot sauce. So now we're going to take it and we're going to use our big Dutch pan right now. And as we talk about all the time, in our Dutch pan, you know, it's like cast iron. It's going to get hot, so you have to watch it, because it doesn't take long for the pan to get hot. We're also going to be using some whipping cream. This is what's going to bring the dish all together. So right now, I'm just going to get started with getting ready to build the sauce. And we also have some chives that we're putting in it. So let me, excuse me. And I'm actually going to do a video. We're going to be having a event planning meeting here. And I'm going to do dessert and coffee with a couple of little appetizers, some sausage pinwheels, which is one of Madia's favorites, along with just some salmon and dill on a cucumber. And then we're going to have a nice little individual pineapple upside down cakes. Does that sound good, Madia?
Yeah, really good.
So now I'm just putting my butter, and you know me, I don't like a lot of butter, but for this, unfortunately, this dish I should call for butter. I can't use my trusty bacon grease. I have to use butter. So we're going to let that go ahead and start to melt around and just kind of get it all over the pan. You want your heat on about medium. You don't want it too hot. You don't want it too low, because you don't want the butter, and butter will burn. So what we're going to do is just kind of start it here and start to let it cook. And once it melts down, then we're going to start using, we're going to put our shallots in. We're going to put a little bit of green onions in, and we're going to put a little bit of our capers in, as well as our dill. And you know, before, when I didn't have fresh dill, and I like to use fresh herbs, you can actually, if you just want to get that dill flavor, everybody has a jar of dill pickles in their cabinet. And when you have it in your cabinet, just take it, drain a little bit of the juice off, and you can use that, and that's the same dill juice. But like I said, today, I just have the fresh herbs, so we're going to use the fresh herbs today. In just a couple of more minutes, we're going to have our butter where we want it, and we'll get started. And first, we're going to start with a little shallots. Pardon me, baby?
So that sounds good. Lily's over here asking if she gets some.
Of course, baby girl. You always get some. You know that.
Thank you, Kiki.
Oh.
Say thank you.
You want some, Mama?
Look at the baby.
You want some too, Isabel?
Oh, she's so cute.
You want some too? Okay.
Yes. What is?
Make sure you let your viewers know Isabel has now started eating.
Oh man. So for the holidays, when I make sweet potatoes, I don't have to say I'm making plain sweet potatoes. She'll be eating the sweet potatoes that we eat, right?
Yeah, she definitely loves all the full flavoring and seasonings, and you know, I know a lot of people disagree with that, but you know, spending as much time overseas as we have, you know, when you're overseas, you know, they don't not season food just because you're a baby.
Exactly.
That's why they have their palate is more, you know, it's not, they don't shy away from extra full flavors and spices and stuff like Americans tend to.
Yep.
Yeah, I say American like I'm not one, but yeah.
Well, you've been overseas. You lived overseas for so long until you're kind of Europeanized. So I understand that, and I'm pretty sure a lot of different military people and people like your mom that was military when she was young, but she's a contractor, and your dad, they all have spent time overseas. A lot of our viewers, and we got a lot of European viewers. So they understand, just like we put the babies out, they like to put the babies out to have sunshine. Here we don't do that as much, but it's good for them. They get that vitamin D, and it's really, really, really good for them. So now I put all of my mixtures in. So now I'm going to crank up the heat a little bit and let it cook. There again, the one thing that I didn't do right now, I did not put my garlic in. Because when you put garlic in, garlic tends to burn. So right now I haven't put any capers in, and I haven't put my garlic in, along with my lemon juice. I will do that in just a few minutes. And then what we're going to do is, once I put it in, I'm going to go ahead and put my Dutch oven on, and we're going to put it at 350 to warm up. Once we do that, we'll put the salmon in the Dutch oven, and we'll put the sauce in, and we'll just let it just kind of marinate a little bit before it's time to eat. And of course, the one ingredient that I left out that we will be using is my trusted white wine. Wine makes everything better. Quick little story. When we first moved to Italy, my youngest son was a senior in high school, and we were there maybe an hour and a half, got into the hotel, and these kids come out of nowhere because my son is 6'8", 6'9", and he played basketball. So the rest of the basketball team saw this new, big, huge kid. So they was like, where did you come from? He's like, I just got here today. So the kids decided that they wanted to invite him to go out with them. And they said, oh, we'll be back in a little while. So I let him go out. When they come back, he smelled like wine, your Uncle Travis. And I'm about to have a fit. And he says, Mom, we're in Italy now. Everybody drinks wine in Italy. And I'm thinking, no, son, we're from the States, and children don't drink wine in the States. I finally got used to being in Italy and let it happen a little bit, but still I was never really comfortable with it. So as you see, everything is cooking good. We're going to go ahead and add just a little bit, and I like to use my knife. I'm going to put maybe a teaspoon of garlic in. I don't need very much garlic. I'm going to add that to it. And then I'm going to add some lemon juice. Oh, maybe about a tablespoon of lemon juice, because it's supposed to have that lemony, buttery, lemony taste. So I'm reducing the heat. And now we're going to add our capers. And capers can be very salty, ladies and gentlemen. So you don't want to put too many in. You want enough to be able to cover everything. And the capers juice is really, really salty. So I'm putting about maybe a good heaping 3 or 4 tablespoons in, with just a little bit of the juice. Because, like I said, it's very, very, very salty. So now we're going to start to just mold this around. And you may have to keep adjusting the heat, because you don't want your butter to start to kind of form together because it's getting too cold, but at the same time. So now I'm going to go ahead and put my white wine in. And it calls for about a 1/4 cup of wine. I'm a little heavy-handed on the wine, so the more wine, the better. So let's just put maybe a 1/2 cup of wine in. Maria, you don't have to do that, but you know wine, the alcohol cooks out, so it's not going to hurt Lily.
Yeah.
So it'll be just fine. So now we have our wine in there. And you can just smell the aroma of the wine, the capers, all of the herbs. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start my flour base. So just a little flour at a time, and we're using like 1/4 cup of flour. So just a little bit at a time. I'm mixing it to get the thickness going, and you want to mix it. And the only reason I like to use a whisk, but the only reason I'm not using a whisk because I don't want to break up my capers.
I see.
So just a little bit at a time, and you see how it's thickening up. And you know me, Marty, your grandmother kind of rinse as she goes because I don't want a lot of dishes at the end of the day. Because when all our family together, the boys scatter as soon as dinner is over. And Maria again has to say, come back and help. Grandma, Mom, and I cook. You come back and help us.
Yeah, because they all get lost and hit the couch. And
Yes, and start looking at the game and everything else and talking to their little girlfriends. Everything but helping. But we have to admit, though, most of the girlfriends will come in the kitchen and start to cook. Especially Kayla. Kayla is more like the daughter-in-law already than a girlfriend.
yeah.
And see how this is just...
She's already there.
Yep.
She's paying her dues.
Yes, she is. So now it's mixing around. And so now it's getting thick. So now I'm going to go ahead and add my heavy cream. And this is going to take that thickness out of it and bring it back to that just real cream. And I used a whole pint. And we're just going to let that cook in. You don't want your cream to come to a boil, but you just want to put that heavy cream in there. And that's what makes your sauce. So we're going to turn it up a little bit, and we're going to let that kind of cook. And I'm going to add just a little more wine because I like my sauce a little looser than most people. We were in a restaurant, and we actually tried it. And the gentleman was telling me, he said, the more wine, the better it tastes. So I'm putting it on here. I think it'll work well with the fish. Chicken, you can do the same thing. And you just want to make this good, white, creamy sauce. And then when I get it to this point, just kind of stir it, let it cook some, let it cook down a little bit. You don't want your cream to come to a boil, because your cream starts to separate at that time. So we're just going to let that cook down and let that sauce just kind of all come together. And this is when I suggest that you start to taste where you are now. And when you start to taste it, you know whether you need to add more seasoning or you have enough seasoning. It just kind of depends on you. That is so good. So good.
I'm jealous.
Well, when I get there, I'm going to make it. Mario will be going back to work soon from maternity leave. So what Gigi/Grandma is going to do when she get there, and I'm going to put a little bit of salt just to kind of balance off, because you know you do have your lemon in it. So lemon is going to give it that acidity taste, and just balance it off with the salt and some black pepper. And I like coarse black pepper. It just gives it a better flavor to me. Maria's mother is the herb and pepper and all type of seasoning queen.
Yeah.
So here we are now. And our oven should be just about ready in the next few minutes. We just want to cook all of this in. And like I said, if you like more seasoning, you can certainly add more seasoning, but you got that rich, rich, rich flavor. If you want it less, you can use less of your flour. If you want it less thicker, I just like the thick flavor to go all over and coat my my salmon really well. And then we're going to put it down and just kind of put it on low while we cook up our cauliflower stir fry. I'm going to go ahead over here while we're here, and I'm going to start on my vegetables so we can have them going. So I'm going to start with my vegetables right now, and I just got okra, tomatoes, and a little bit of shredded cabbage. Oh, see, that sauce is just really cooking. We just wanted to get all the flour cooked, and that's the only reason that I'm letting it cook a little bit more, because I just want to cook all the flour out of it and make that good roux. And there we are, ladies and gentlemen. So now that we got the pan on, we're getting the pan in the back hot. And what we're going to do once we do this is just to heat up the pan a little bit. And I'm going to put my okra in first and start to let my okra cook. And then I'm going to add the carrots and just sweat down the few tomatoes in there and just make a little vegetable melody. And my baby girl loves all type of vegetables, and I really love that.
I do. If only I've gotten Lily into it now. Like, she'll tear up some cauliflower mash, but broccoli, she won't touch. Grandma, hold on real quick. One of your great-granddaughters.
Uh-oh.
I'll be right back.
Okay. And I'm just going to salt and pepper my okra. And I'm going to let my okra cook. My carrots are already pretty much cooked. And this is the reason that I'm actually just going to make sure that my okra is sauteed. When you're cooking okra, I try to cook with, hi mamas, hi pretty girl, with as less fat as possible. I don't like a lot of fat, but you want to make sure there's no moisture in your okra. And of course, you knew before it was over with, I would use a little bit of my trusty bacon grease. Are you looking at Gigi cook? Yes. Are you looking at Gigi cook? And now we're just going to fry up this okra real quick and kind of let it get like a little brown, and then we'll add the rest of the vegetables. And then what we're going to do is just kind of sweat down the tomatoes with it. Oh, and look at that sauce. See, now it has turned like a light brown, and that's when you know that your flour is done. It's gone from being just that white sauce to almost like a pale beige or whatever, and that's the color that you want your sauce. And now that our oven is ready, what I'm going to do now, hi mama, hi darling, is put my salmon back into my sauce. And then what we're going to do,
Hey, sweetie. Hey, Lily.
and we're going to take it now, and I'm going to put it into the oven and just let it cook for a few minutes. Hi, babies. Mommy got both of her babies. Yes. And see it, Maria?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that looks great.
So we're going to put it just in the oven for a few minutes. And now what we're going to do, we're going to bring this over. Our okra is just about ready. And now I'm going to add my tomatoes. And I'm just going to take them and I'm going to slice them in half. Just got a few cherry tomatoes. Cut this little fire down a little bit. And I'm going to just slice them in half. Oh man. There we are. And now that we got the tomatoes in there, we're just going to cook the tomatoes. And I try to wipe as we go so the stove stays clean. And then the last thing, we're just going to add a little bit of carrots. But we're going to let that keep cooking for just a few minutes, and we're going to put it on a low heat. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start on our cauliflower. And this is going to be cauliflower rice. Just keep stirring it, let your tomatoes sweat, add your carrots, and in a few minutes to be ready to go. Just kind of keep an eye on your stove. Hi, mama girl. So now we're just going to put some oil. Just enough oil just to coat my pan on the bottom. And once we coat the pan, we're going to let the pan warm up. And then we're going to start, because cauliflower doesn't take but a few minutes. So this is where we're going to start. And you can do it two ways. You can put it on the side at this point, or you can put it right directly under your salmon and then put the gravy and the salmon on top. It just kind of depends on what you feel like doing. So while that's warming up for us, I made some bacon earlier, and I'm just going to put my bacon right into my okra and my tomatoes. And I'm going to go ahead, and that's Miss Isabel. Yes, that's my Isabel. And now I'm just going to add the carrots. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to just let this kind of saute around. And we have our vegetables. I'm really trying to get better about eating vegetables, and that the kids are small. I really try to set a good example for my kids and grandkids. So we have that ready to go. And once this just heats up enough, we're going to start with our vegetables and put the cauliflower in last. You have any comments or questions, Maria?
Yeah, so, for your okra, what if you did okra, tomatoes, and then other than, see, I don't use anything in my okra other than salt and pepper, but do you use, what kind of tomato do you use? Because I like to use, like, if you go to the store, you can get, the stewed, garlic, like, it's got, like, the garlic and herb tomatoes, and those are really good in the okra. You have to cut down the tomatoes a little bit.
Oh, okay.
What kind do you use?
I just use fresh cherry tomatoes in mine.
Okay.
But I have to try that. You'll have to send me, show me what you're talking about, and I'll have to try that.
Okay, I got you, yeah. And see, I only use those because I don't ever know how to season okra without overdoing it.
Well, you know what? You put just put a little salt and pepper in it, and like I always used to tell you guys, you can always add more seasoning, but you can't take it away. So as you go, my thing to you is to just add little by little seasoning, and once you get enough seasoning, keep tasting it. Add some seasoning, stir it around, let it cook down a little bit, and just keep tasting it. And then once you do, just get it to where you want it to be for your palate and your family's palate. And that way you don't over season it, because you can always put enough seasoning in, but you can't take any out.
Right.
So,
Gotcha. Okay.
so now I'm going to start putting my green onions into my frying pan, and as you can see, it's sizzling. So now what we'll do, we'll just turn down the heat just a little bit. The rest of my shallots in. And I'm kind of making this like a little stir fry. Hi, Mama. Hi, Mama. How's my baby girl? How's the baby girl? So now, Mario, what we're doing is just going to let this cook around, because we want to get all the vegetables pretty much done. And I'm going to go ahead and add my mushrooms, because once we do this, it's not going to take but a minute for the cauliflower to cook. Cauliflower is not going to take a long time to cook. And see, now my tomatoes are sweated down. My okra is still intact, because you don't want it where it starts to get slimy, because I hate slimy okra. So we're going to let all of this cook and just get going here in the seasoned pan. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to season with a little bit of Lawry's. And just a little bit of garlic salt. And I probably will add just a little bit of garlic, but not much, just enough to give it some type of seasoning. And you can cut your vegetables almost all the way down. By this point, you can cut your vegetables down, because all they need to do is kind of keep steaming. And just keep an eye on your what you have in the stove. Just keep an eye on your salmon and your sauce. And I'm going to go ahead and cut it off, because the stove will stay warm enough. So, as you know, mushrooms and everything only takes a minute to cook. So we got that already done, and now we're just going to add our cauliflower rice in there. And like I said, for this dish, ladies and gentlemen, please, you can use your regular pasta. You can use rice, regular rice. I'm just trying to cut back on carbs, and that is why I'm using my cauliflower instead. Some people don't like cauliflower. It's certainly an acquired taste. When I lived in England, I started eating it because all of my English friends used to take fried cauliflower and dip it with sour cream and just eat it with sour cream. And that used to drive me crazy. But I learned to eat it that way, and after I started to eat it that way, I love it, and I love cauliflower. Not so crazy about broccoli. I will eat it, so I know where Lily get not eating broccoli from. But
broccoli is good. You guys.
Broccoli is okay. Your grandfather likes broccoli too, but broccoli is okay.
Yes, indeed.
I'm like,
There are people who don't eat okra, and that just makes no sense to me, because I love okra.
exactly, exactly. And as you can see now, the okra is still intact. Your tomatoes are sweated down, and your carrots are now soft. So you have your vegetable melody already ready, and I just got it on very low just to keep it warm. I've cut my oven off so my sauce doesn't overcook, and everything is just cooking is in. I didn't embed it into my sauce yet because I want to wait a few minutes, and once we put it on the plate, then you put the sauce on it. That keeps it from the skin getting soggy. And as you can see, I left skin side up. I didn't put the crisp skin in. I left skin side up. And oh man, this is almost ready. Marty, it really turned out good. It looks like a stir fry. You still have almost like a rice with all your vegetables in it. But you don't have, you know, the calories from, or the carbs from rice or pasta. And you know, you don't have to mix the onions, and you don't have to mix the different vegetables or the mushrooms. I just like mushrooms and everything. I like onions, scallops, green onions and everything. So we're just letting that just sweat down for a few minutes. I'm going to actually cover it, reduce the heat, and ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. And like I did before, I know you saw my dessert tonight. I'm not fixing it yet, but my dessert tonight will have an ice cream with a little bit of strawberries and cream Baileys on it. Marty, you have to get some for Anthony. I know he will love it.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Yes.
That's going to be good.
And you can always, if you want to have just like a little piece of cake or something with it, use a ladyfinger. That works wonderful. Ladyfingers just have kind of like that vanilla hazelnut taste to it. People that's allergic to it, I know you can't use it, but if you like ladyfingers, sponge cake, pound cake, and you just put ice cream and actually just put that Bailey's strawberries and cream over, and it makes a wonderful dessert, and it takes about 5 minutes. So right now, I am going to just check on my cauliflower, and you can see from me closing it up. Oh, and you can just smell it. You can smell everything in here. And I didn't put garlic in like I usually, because I actually have garlic in the vegetables, so I didn't put any garlic in. And we're just doing a taste. Very good. Very good. I'm going to add a little bit more salt to it because I know my husband likes salt. Really good.
Yes, indeed.
My daughter likes, and my granddaughter likes, cauliflower mashed potatoes. My palate doesn't like mashed potatoes, so I don't really do the mashed potatoes part. But they will like that. And I'll be right back, and as you can see, that is cooking and it's wilting down really well. And we're just going to take a dish out to go ahead and be able to plate this. In just a few minutes, we're going to plate it, and we'll be good to go. And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. You have your mixed vegetable melody, and you can use green beans, anything you like for your vegetables. It doesn't have to be what we use. This is just what I had. Nothing special already in my pantry. You might have salmon, you might not. If you're not, chicken. Chicken works well. Chicken piccata is one of the best ways to make chicken. Chicken masala, we'll be doing soon. It's another good way to make it. I know a lot of people will make it. I know a lot of people will hear me say that I'm going to make it, and they'll probably make it. But that's fine. But my take on things is Gigi's way. Add to it, take away from it. Take pictures, send me pictures. I like to know. Give me hints If you see something that, oh, Gigi, I tried this and this tastes a little bit better, please, please, please let me know. I welcome all comments. I enjoy hearing back from everyone. So now what we're going to do is go ahead and I am going to get ready to take out I'm going to take out my salmon now. And it's all done. And now we're just going to take my spoon.
Make Isabel a bottle while you make your delicious.
Ah, and you see how it turned out, Maria?
Oh, that looks good.
And there's the cauliflower rice already made.
Okay.
Everything is ready to go. I'm going to sit you here for a second, and I'm going to go ahead and just take it and now make the plates. And what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to start with my my vegetables. And I'm going to just move my salmon around a little bit. And as I told you, ladies and gentlemen, I intentionally put it where I had it on my skin upside, because I'm going to put all of this rich sauce already on the plate. And when you do it like this, everybody can just kind of serve themselves. And it makes a really good plate. You can use any type of plate that you would like. This particular plate is 25 years old. Now I know I'm telling my age.
Your young age,
My young age. And now we're just going to take the salmon and we are just going to put our salmon right in that sauce. And we can serve it like this, or we can serve it however. It's all in the sauce. Take it up. And we're going to fix a plate now. And I'm going to take some of my fried cauliflower rice. And I'm going to put it right here. And I'm going to get some of my vegetables and just put it on the plate. It looks really good, doesn't it, babe?
Yes, it does. Can't wait to eat it.
And then I'm going to take, I see you got drippings in, you can pour it over or you can leave it. So what I'm going to do is actually take one of my pieces of salmon, set it right on the cauliflower rice, and then we're just going to drizzle all of that good sauce on it. I like to kind of wipe my plates off. And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Fried cauliflower rice, salmon piccata, and mixed vegetable melody. I certainly hope you enjoyed the show, and I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Please write in, let me know what you thought about the recipe. If you changed it any, or you want to add something to it, please let me know. And I will be glad to try it your way. Maria, you see it?
I do. It's so good.
Yes, I wish you guys were here for dinner. And on behalf of my family, my husband, my granddaughter, my great-grandchildren, Children, we just want to say thank you for joining us. Thank you for becoming a part of our family. We look forward to doing a lot of things with you. Maria has talked me into doing a Easter brunch that I will do before Easter, so you can kind of get some ideas. And we probably will be having a St. Patty's Day party. So with that being said, I bid you happy eating and have a good evening. This is Down Home with Gigi. Have a great weekend and see you soon. Bye now. Bye, Mike. Tell them bye. Bye. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.